You're so funny, Lars. Ring the bell. Oh, there we go. Okay. Welcome, everyone, to our May 15th, I can't believe it's May 15th, May 15th meeting of Rotary Toronto Eglinton. I'd like to welcome everyone. I don't know if we have any, I didn't see any guests, so no, we don't have any guests. Anyway, as some of you may have noticed, our speaker could not make it due to traffic. That's what we're going with, right, Lars? He tried, he finally gave up. So he's not going to join us today. So we're going to have a little fun today. People got people in the crowd keep coming and say, hey, you know, can I have a couple minutes? I said, you can have 20 minutes if you want 20 minutes. So we're going to have a little fun. But let me just start the meeting up. And we have no birthdays today, but we do have a reflection that I'm going to have Jackie give to us today.
This reflection is very short and sweet.
You can take as much time as you want.
Just like me. Not. Okay. Okay. No. People are like stained glass windows. They sparkle and shine when the sun is out. But when the darkness sets in, their true beauty is revealed. Only, though, if there is light from within. Think about it.
Very nice. Discuss amongst yourselves. Okay, so we have a couple things, so we don't need to have an introduction. So let's do Happy Bucks. Glenn, I think you're managing Happy Bucks, the tins there. Does anyone have any Happy Bucks they want to share? Arthur's going to share.
Do we need this? Want this?
You can try it. Probably give you feedback, but use this one. Here, use this one.
We'll just let Arthur talk louder. What is this like?
Okay.
And starting the 50-50 draw. No, I've got $40. And the reason I have $40 is because the weekend before last, I went to Chicago and Evanston, which is the Rotary headquarters. Thank you very much, all of you, because you all paid for it. And I'm going to talk about this later because I was one of the ones that asked for a couple of minutes, and apparently I've got 20.
Anybody else?
Stephen.
Get this working well.
There's 10. I spent a wonderful evening last night at the Project Give Back annual presentation, and we had a number of students. There must have been about 15 students who had booths explaining which charities they were supporting and why. It was really interesting. There were a lot of presentations of awards to different people. It's now in over 60 schools. It's been going for more than 18 years. And in fact, interestingly enough, there was one young lady who spoke who had been in a grade 5 class at one of the earlier Project Give Back things. And she had then gone on to university, got a teaching degree, and was then a teacher at a school where her class is now doing the Project Give Back. So it's come full circle. There were also, I was telling Jackie earlier, there were 2 students from Northern who are actually in grade 10, which of course is way beyond Project Give Back, but they got back in touch. They'd done it when they were kids in grade 5 elsewhere. They got back in touch with Ellen Schwartz, and they met up with her. She put them in touch with the people from the food bank, the Toronto Food Bank, and they did a food drive at the school and raised a vast amount of food to donate to the school, to the charity. And then subsequently they did a cookie baking thing as well, and they got tremendous support for that. So it was a wonderful evening, a lot of people there, and everybody had a terrific time. Thanks.
Stephen, I'm interested in what sort of projects did the kids in elementary school, what charities did they select to work with?
I'll try and remember a few of them. One was Alzheimer's, another one was to do with computer work. Another one was to do with, there were about 15 of them. I spoke to probably 6 or 8 of them as I was going around. You know what, I can't even remember, but all sorts of different charities, you know, Sick Kids Hospital was another one. Alzheimer's Society I mentioned was another one. And there were lots of others, but I mean, I can get the list for you and let you have it.
You mentioned that you were what, at 60 schools?
I think it's about 60 schools, yeah.
So a good selection of Toronto City
Yeah,
ones, because
yeah.
I know she's in.
Yeah. I'm gonna get her to come back when my pod is back on in August, September. I'm gonna ask her to come back and talk to us because she hasn't been there for quite a while. It was a fabulous evening.
Glenn, Maria?
Yeah, I've been away for a long time and still do. So I got my badge today. And I must say, I have my heart in 2 places, but you are so nice to me that I felt at home right away when I came here today. Thank you.
Anyone else?
In a minute.
We trust you.
Okay. I just wanted to say that our church, Eglinton St. George's, we had a rummage sale about a month ago. I haven't been at a few meetings, but best ever rummage sale. In 3 hours, we made $32,000.
Oh,
Over 1,000 people came, shoppers, and we had 150 volunteers. It was unbelievable. It took a week to set everything up,
I bet.
and we collected things for 6 weeks before. So I'll give you $10 for that.
Anyone else? Yes, I know lots of churches do that kind of stuff, and my mother used to do the Kingsway Lambton Bazaar, and they used to raise a heck of a lot of money, but it took them weeks
Yes.
to get ready for. Crazy. Thank you, Glenn. That's mine. Okay, let's move on to the business part of the meeting. This could be a very short meeting, but we'll see what happens. So a couple people have asked for presentation time, so I'm going to do my announcements first, and then we'll go from there. So if you have not already gotten the email from Virginia O'Reilly, who's going to be our future district governor for the district assembly, that is on June 1st. It is at Centennial College from 8 to 2 p.m. There's a $50 charge for it, but it's a great way to learn more about the district. I know Lars may have more to speak to on that. Is there anything else I'm missing?
No, it's a good
Okay.
information session, but it's also good network.
So as I said, Centennial College at the Event Center, 8th floor, 937 Progress Avenue. I will include that in my follow-up email. If you want to register, you have to go on the district website, or you can go back to the email that Virginia probably sent you. And she sent them out twice. Just have to register as a member or a guest, and you'll be registered there and you can join for that. The other thing I want to speak to is the Toronto Blues Fest. If you haven't already talked about this, so the community service group is doing the Blues Fest, working with the Toronto East Rotary Club, or Turk as we like to call them. And there's a couple different clubs and entities that are getting involved in that. That's also part of our Rotary Connect group that we're working on it together. So that's also, we're going to be looking for volunteers to help out with that. We're not raising money ourselves for our club. We're raising money for initiatives that all the clubs that are attending that event are doing together. So I think the community service is working out who they're raising the money for. So it's not coming back to our our club, but it's actually going towards some worthy causes that we do support. So if you're up for some volunteering, they are looking for some people. I just don't know how many and when, why, and how. So hopefully I'll get that information and pass that along to you. Okay. Oh, go for it, Glenn.
Okay, 'cause we had a meeting last night, Don was there, so they need some people first thing in the morning, about 9:30 to set up the tent. And then it's sort of 2-hour shifts, it's just basically information about Rotary. There's 3 Rotary groups, East Toronto and Leaside, I think. And just kind of looking for people for these 2-hour shifts to just sort of tell people about Rotary, and they can make a donation if they choose to. And I think what they're thinking is something specific, like they'll have one, if you want to give money for food banks, or if you want to give money for healthcare, which apparently is a big one for East Toronto or whatever.
Okay.
Anyway, there's a sign-up sheet. I'm sure she's gonna give you to forward or whatever.
Beautiful. Okay, great. So if you have any questions, you can direct those to Dawn if you'd like. The other thing we have going on the 12th of June is our trails visit. I will be sending an invitation to register. It's on our Toronto Eglinton events website. I just been away until yesterday, so I will get it up and running this week. So you guys will get an email from me, and you just have to go and register for that. We're doing $20 a person, right? So we decided, Tom, $20 a person. That covers lunch and some part of the donation towards the LIT shirts. Correct? Is that we're going with that game this year?
And will you have something for people that need a ride?
So I have in my email follow-up, I usually say, reach out to Tom. I know that. Who reached out to me? Is it Bob? Who was it? Bob? Who? I can't remember. Did you reach out to me and say, hey, you're gonna be in town? Who was it that said they had be able to drive some people? Okay. Okay, so let Tom know if you're gonna be attending and you have room in a car, because I'm gonna have a car too. I will have room in my truck. So just let Tom know that if you're going and you have a vehicle. Also let Tom know that if you need a ride and you don't have access, and he will make sure that all works out. But yeah, so look for that email in regards to the trails event coming. It's a great afternoon. We always have fun when we go up. They treat us really well, and you get to have a site visit if you want to go, if you've never been before. But it's just great meeting some of the LITs will be there, right?
Some will be there. We're not giving the presentation there for the LIT, but we are giving the presentation for the Bonnet and the other award bursary that we give.
Right.
So we'll be giving a check presentation.
Great. Okay, I think that's it for my announcements. I'm gonna now ask Anna to come up, or do you want to do it through Jim during Jim's time? Okay, so let me go to Arthur then, and then we'll go to the international, and you guys can tag team then. So Arthur's gonna talk about his trip. And when Arthur said, thank you very much to all of you, the board over the last, I don't know how many years it's been, we're one of the few clubs to ensure that the president-elect goes to the Rotary International headquarters, is that part of our dues goes towards supporting the trip for him to go. So it pays for his flight and hotel. So yeah, so that just so you know, it goes into the budget for the every year for the club. So it's very much appreciated by the members because it makes him a more informed president. Look at that. I didn't get one of those.
Well, you had to buy it.
Oh, you bought it.
No, at one point in time, and I don't know if we still do this, when you go and visit another club, you might take your banner to the other club. And same thing, people coming here who are visiting might bring their banner. Well, this is from Rotary International. And as mentioned, I just, I'm away from the mic. Probably could hear me anyway. But I was, the weekend before this past weekend, I was in Chicago and Evanston. And with a group of people that are all going to be presidents next year. And if there's one reason you may want to be next year's president, not this year's president, that trip might be it. It is absolutely fantastic. But the opportunity to compare notes with people from different clubs is wonderful. One thing that I did was I asked everybody to write me about when they have their meetings, what day, what time, and how many meetings they have a month. And believe you me, it's varied, very varied. We are traditionally a luncheon club, but because of this, I'm probably one of the younger members. Well, excluding David. But the young people can't make it to a luncheon meeting. And so this is something that we have to think about as a club. Not that we change our time. I was going to go to the Bowmanville early morning meeting yesterday. And I got up at 5 o'clock and I thought, no, I'm not gonna go. So I didn't go. But that, you know, I don't like the idea of an early morning meeting. And I'm not so keen on the evening ones either. But there could be people that could be attracted to those times. And so we should consider this as maybe we have one meeting that is an early morning meeting. The other thing that a comment came out was just because we're not attending the meetings doesn't mean we're not Rotarians. And you may participate being a Rotarian and never actually attend a meeting. You might be involved in Meals and Wheels or whatever else we're involved in, but not able to make it to the meetings. And that's something we should consider as well. I'm not looking at making any radical changes next year, but I'm certainly going to be open to people's thoughts about how we continue as a Rotary Club. But while in Chicago, Chicago is a gorgeous city. And one thing that we did, we went on a river cruise. And there's a lot of river cruise boats in Chicago. And we had a beautiful sunny day. And the fellow was talking about all the architecture of the skyscrapers in Chicago. It was really interesting. David went last year in the rain. It was still interesting, but not as comfortable, apparently. But it was really a wonderful thing to do. But then we went up to Evanston, which is north of Chicago. The waterfront in Chicago, Illinois area is unbelievable. We should have it here in Toronto. The beach goes on and on and on. And you can see there's a lot of beach volleyball played because they have a lot of nets up. Unfortunately, they weren't playing it. I guess it was a bit cool. But it looks like a wonderful place to be. And Evanston is a university type of city or college type of city. Lots of young people, lots of great restaurants. It's a terrific place to visit, even if you don't go with Rotary. Go there and drop in to Rotary International and so on. But it was wonderful. So I have a whole pile of contacts now of people with other clubs. Now, for instance, the Toronto Club, which is known as the expensive club, apparently the fees are over $1,000. And I think it's $85 for a lunch. They only have 2 meetings, one lunch meeting and one evening meeting per month. So that's quite a bit different. When I was there, there was 500 members. Now they have under 200. But it was quite interesting. Now, does anybody have any questions about my trip or anything else that they might like to ask? Yes.
Some time ago, Lars, I think it was, set up a speaker. I think we were on Zoom at the time, was somebody from Rotary International who was heading up a special initiative to do a whole strategic look at how Rotary was set up or structured. Did they allude to that initiative at all?
I think it's a constant thing that all clubs, as well as all districts, and Rotary International are looking at, because times are changing. There's no doubt about it. But the big thing is it's service above self that we're looking at. And the young people, they are driving their kids to everything on the weekends, and they're both working, and they just don't seem to have the time that previous generations had. And so this is something that we have to look at. But that's, yeah, very much a part of what's happening there in Rotary International. They're looking ahead. Anybody else? If anybody is thinking they'd love to be the president next year, please speak to me.
President-elect next year.
President-elect, yes.
Yes. Thank you, Arthur. Yes, it is. If it's the only thing that drives you to become president, it is a really great experience. I mean, I don't know what Arthur experienced, but when I was at the Rotary International headquarters, you learned about the foundation, how it really works. You got to walk around and see the president's office. When I was there, we saw the current president as president-elect. He was in his office, and we got to take pictures and have conversations. So it was a great time, and you know, you get to see all the people who contributed to Rotary. You get to see a whole bunch of things. I mean, how many people put up there? How many people have ever been to Rotary International's headquarters?
Who have been there.
Been there.
Yeah.
I would assume you would be
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yes. It is an experience. It really is, and it's not what you expect.
I think
It's
it's there's no question, it's the people you meet and the connections, the networking.
yeah. As I said to Arthur when he and I spoke about it afterwards, the presidents during my year, we are still connected.
Yeah, you still stay friends. I
Yeah,
know for
still
years.
connected, and they're the people that we actually started. We're the ones that started the Rotary Connect piece, and those are the people that I still hang out with, and they're all part of that. You can tell. You start to gravitate to those people that really want to be a part of something bigger than they are, and that's what I do. Look out for the flying, whatever it is.
I guess what one can say is that our district is one of the few.
I think it's the only one. I think that's what you're told. I think we're the only district that actually goes to headquarters for the incoming presidents. There's no other district in Rotary International that goes into the headquarters. So it is a really unique experience, and we've been able to keep it up, but I'm surprised because just imagine if every district wanted to do this, because they present like half-hour presentations from each of the different groups, like membership, foundation, all sorts of stuff. They have to do that constantly. They'll never get any work done because they're constantly presenting what they're doing. So it's an opportunity for our district to take advantage of that based on our proximity to where it is. But it's odd that other districts have never done it.
Or other districts haven't done.
Oh, they have.
Actually, what you can say, opposite to that then is that maybe if they did it more, there would be more Arthurs and Davids and Normans coming and being enthusiastic.
Right.
So,
You'd wish, right? You'd hope. Okay, let's move on to our international committee updates. We have a tag team here, so I think Jim's going to start and then Anna's going to finish off, kind of thing. Yes?
Well, thank you very much, David. It's a pleasure for me to bring the update of our latest committee meeting and our progress. First thing I would like to do is to introduce our incoming chairman for the International Committee for next year, and that is Gunitsi.
Time, can I say a couple of words?
Absolutely, yeah.
So, I need a microphone. Could you hear me anyway? Thank you so much, Jim. You've been a great leader. Thank you so much. And offering this duty for me and doing your mentorship along the year, I learned a lot from you. Thank you so much. And now I know that the chair has a great responsibilities and duties. And I will appreciate your ongoing support and the marvelous, great team of international committee. I'll do my best. Thank you so much.
The next person on our tag team who is on the screen is Joe Clark. And Joe, could you just give us a few words about what's happening in Bujiri?
Well, as a matter of fact, Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, well, thanks to Ron Denham, the Wash Rag, the Wash Rotary Action Committee has selected our project for promotion, which would result in the publication of photographs and description of what we have been doing in Bujiri. We have two projects in Bujiri. One was completed a few years ago, and a second one is in progress now, delayed only by COVID. This is really quite an honor. There is a team of photographers in place in Uganda a meeting has already been scheduled for them to take photographs of the different the two projects and for suitable for publication. So this is I think it ends up in the Rotarian, but I can't be sure where it ends up. Any questions?
Any questions for Joe? Doesn't look like it, Joe. We're good.
Thanks very much, Joe. At this point, I would, Joe's been speaking with us about a project that has been a focus of our committee for 8 or 10 years now. We have a new global grant project that we're looking at, and I would like to call Anna Shep up to tell us about it.
We put the pictures up there.
So,
I'm gonna let you talk and then
thank you.
stand there, then I'll do it here.
So David's going to put the picture up of what inspired me to take on this project or introduce it to the International Committee. As well, there was an article about Unbroken, and that symbolizes the resilience of the Ukrainian people who will not be broken. They just bounce back, and they're on adrenaline, apparently, because they're so committed to getting their democracy and their freedom back. So this was the picture that inspired me, and you all remember the little napalm girl during the Vietnam War. Well, this to me is something everybody can relate to. The mother has lost a limb. The little girl has lost 2. The mother could walk with crutches. She has 1 leg. The little girl can't do anything. And the little boy is their helper, and the father is dead. He died fighting. So I thought, well, maybe we can make a go of this. And I was put in touch with Dr. Peter Derkach and Jerry Evans of NIA Technologies, and they are the 2 principals that we'll be working with to partner with not only a Rotary in Ukraine, but a hospital or clinic. And site number 1 was funded by the Canadian Ukrainian Foundation. And Peter and Jerry went over, and they're going to be speaking, by the way. Stephen, where are you?
He had to leave.
Oh, okay. So they're going to be speaking on September 11th when my pod is on, but I'm not sure Stephen has that confirmed. And they may even have to change it if something happens. Anyway, site number 2 is being installed in a city south of Kiev, and it's a clinic, but it oversees 43 other clinics. The Rotary Club of Calgary has been absolutely phenomenal, as have Norma and Jackie and Jim and Ganesi helping me, and now Arthur, with some of the logistics, because I'm just a learner. I haven't even been a member for 8 months, I don't think. So the Calgary person, they did this very same project in Sri Lanka. So Paul Cahill, whom I've spoken to,
sent me their application, their needs assessment, has spoken to me about things, written copious emails as I have been with him and with Jerry and Peter. Anyway, the idea is to supply 2 3D printers, which will be receiving a scanned image of the amputated part of the leg, and it'll only be lower limbs. It will be accurate, and the downtime will be just incredible. Right now, of course, it's a plaster cast. It's got to be put on the amputated part. Then it has to dry, and they do a nylon or I guess plastic mold. Neil will be doing nylon. It's much lighter. And the fitting isn't that great because it's inexact and it's a little heavier too. So with the 3D, we'll be providing 2 scanners, and they can scan the amputated part, feed it into the computer, which they'll also be supplying, and then 2 printers will operate as long as they can operate. Maybe overnight it can produce a prosthetic in 8 hours. And there's a video, you can just see it being built. So people can get mobile right away. And the other thing is, not only are there war victims, but Ukraine is the most heavily mined country in the world right now. There are 1 million landmines, and you'll see a picture of a nurse who stepped on a landmine and lost both her legs. And I think the next one is also.
I've only got 2.
Only 2. Well, anyway, there's one of her fiance holding her and saying, you know, they're still a couple and they're gonna get married and, you know, life will go on. We can't help her, unfortunately, with our project, but there's a hospital, if you wanna look it up, Richard Branson and Howard Buffett started it in Ukraine called Superhumans. And it's a fascinating read. I found it by accident on the internet. It looks like they're doing robotic prosthetics. They've got great big machines producing them. We're at the ground level because there aren't trained personnel. And there aren't even enough prosthetists and orthopedic people, because young people today don't want to go into that field. It's too clunky, it's too time consuming. However, in the first project, Unbroken, they called it, in the city of Lviv, they trained 2 sculptors, young guys, and they just took to the 3D printer like a duck to water, and they're operating it. However, the clinic will have trained people already there who will adapt, and they're also at this clinic making arms and hands, they aren't making legs, so that'll be new. Our site, the Rotary site, will be the 3rd installation. The city has not been chosen. I've communicated with several cities, not likely to be chosen because they're in a little bit more of a danger zone. However, by July, we'll know what city is site number 3. And Peter and I can talk loudly, I think. Sure. Peter and Jerry will go and install our site as well. I was at a Toronto Rotary function last night. It was a networking social thing, and the first 2 people I met were the upcoming president and the upcoming chair of the international committee. So of course I told them about the project. They're excited, asked them if they'd like to partner, and they thought so. You know, I guess they can't commit on behalf of anybody at the moment. They're not really in the position. I'm speaking about this at District Assembly. I spoke to Virginia the other morning. She called me and got my 2 minutes, maybe, yeah, I wanted 5. But she only gave me 2, and I would have only spent 2 here, but you said we're gonna. Anyway, and I may as well tell you, you know, as much as I can, and I hope everything I say is different, and I'm not repeating myself. Anyway, it's state of the art. I think that's excellent for Rotary because it's an age, I was saying to the people at my table, it's an age of AI and 3D printing, and they're enhancing 3D printers all the time. And we're on the leading edge. We may be a very experienced club, an older club perhaps, but I think we're gonna be leading edge in this, and that's really, yeah, that's really something. And furthermore, on June the 6th, a Nobel Peace Prize winner from Ukraine is speaking in English about what she's doing, and there's a gala fundraiser, which I spoke to the organizer yesterday or the day before, and she's going to ask the speaker, Alexandra is her name, to talk about our project, because her thing is children. She's documenting all the human rights abuses, and one of them is that, you know, Ukrainian children are being kidnapped to Russia. So because our prosthetics are for children, women and children, and that's another area, women and children health, she'll talk about it, I'm sure. So I think we'll get some we've already started with the exposure, and then I guess it's time to contact the other clubs and so forth. I'm just learning the ropes, but I hope you'll all help in some way, and that you'll donate, and that we'll be really successful. And, you know, as Jackie and I were saying, Cambodia, why not the world? I mean, I'm all for applying for a global grant every year. If we can do this in another country as well. The situation on Earth is pretty bad. So whatever we can do. Oh yeah, and Jim, it was very creative. He came up, so next year's slogan is the magic of Rotary. So Jim came up with a slogan, which I worked with a little bit, maybe fooling around, make it shorter, but anyway, it's great. Create hope in the world with the magic of 3D printers. Now I want to somehow say Rotary magic in there, and I'll rework it, but anyway, I thought that was pretty good as a grabber. And Arthur's going to help with a flyer, because anybody I spoke to said, please have a handout ready to give. Virginia suggested it, somebody else. So we're going to do the blue and yellow. Can you send Arthur, please, the blue and yellow flyer from the casino night?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. And then you can see what to do there. And anybody else is technically inclined at your help, or if you have children, or I was thinking, wouldn't it be something if Rotaractors got involved? You know, they could help with tech stuff, whereas I know very little. And most of you, I think, are of my era. You know, a lot of you have got some experience, but you know, the Rotaractors, they might just find, and they can do fundraising too for this. I think we need to involve them maybe. Okay, I probably.
Any questions for Anna?
Yeah.
Okay, Marion, then Jackie.
So what is the cost of the project?
Okay, so I'm not sure that, well, this is rough. So we start with $80,000. That'll be for the printers, the scanners, and one computer, training. And that'll be a 2-week process, outfitting a lab. And Jerry is very particular about where he sets up. It's not like we're reinventing the wheel. They're gonna set up in a hospital, they want a backup generator, you know, a number of things, and it will pay for Jerry and Peter, who are the only two that know this stuff in the whole world. Pay for their flights. No, you say no, Lars? There's other 3D printing of prosthetics of lower limbs? Okay, well, anyway, Jerry's software is proprietary to these printers, and it's quite fast. So, okay, anyway, there is no such thing going on in Ukraine except for this, and it's the most needy right now, probably in the whole world as well. So 80,000 covers that, but we'd like to keep, and a global grant is a 2-year thing, supply the limb and the foot, which I don't think is part of the 80,000, it might be. I have to look at the thing again, but, Ukraine is already building old-fashioned prosthetics, so it sources its own limbs and feet. Otherwise, Jerry has contacts in Turkey and Sri Lanka and India for these parts. So I am suggesting, Calgary budget was 123,000. That's what they spent in Sri Lanka. So I'd like to target that and see if we can, and maybe a bit more. With the vast Ukrainian community in Toronto and the fact that this is going to be spread, it could be that we raise a lot of money, I'm hoping. So we'll see. And Jackie?
I was just, congratulations, Anna, for your enthusiasm and your initiative in finding this project. I just found out today that, you read an article in the paper and followed up on it. So all of us here could be the authors of global grants if we followed your advice. Most of you realize that a global grant consists of our club contributions matched by other clubs in our district, matched by district money, and then matched by Rotary International money. So that's 3 levels of funding. But I just want to suggest to you, Anna, since you're making connections with Nobel Peace Prize winners and whatever, that it could be possible that the government of Canada would have a matching program. Because in one of the global grants that Norma and I did in Kenya, we had a 4th level of matching, which was CEDA money. At that time, it was called CEDA. I can't remember. I don't know what it's called now. But it might be that our government has a program of matching funds that nonprofits make. So just keep your ear to the ground about that.
Okay, and maybe you have some contacts.
No.
No? Okay, well, we'll find them somehow. Okay, is that it? Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Anna. Congratulations on that. That's all I have for today. Is there anyone else who wants to make any announcements? So right, I forgot. It was on my list and I thought. So I also want to recognize, congratulations. I did not know that you were moving into that role. Congratulations, Kenizi. But I also want to wish you a very happy summer in Turkey.
Thank you so much.
When are you coming back? Do you know?
11th of September.
11th of September.
Like 3 months, but yeah, 5th of June I'm leaving, but I will be online services.
Beautiful. Well, wish her well. She's gone for her summer break. Lars, did you have something?
Yes,
Okay.
I owe Ron Wild an answer.
Oh, yes, Ron Wild won his answer.
So I'll put in $5 to give that answer. And that has nothing to do with it, but those of us who were on the call last week, I mentioned, but of course I used my Swinglish on Swedish. So what I tried to say was that tomorrow it is the EU Day, the European Union Day. So I gave $27 happy bucks. And I promised to give the answer if someone couldn't figure out what it is. So my question is now, does anyone know why it was $27?
27 years.
Pardon?
27 years.
27
Years.
years, no?
27 countries by Ron.
27 countries, yes, the member states. So because of the UK leaving, it was $1 less than it could have been otherwise.
Thank you, Lars, for finishing off that little question and answer period. Anything else from any other members today? Okay, so we have a foundation meeting right after this meeting. Are there any other meetings going on that are coming up? I know we have the membership meeting next week. I'll send out an agenda and everything for that. And then the board meeting is on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. If anyone wants to join the board meeting, please let me know and I'll make sure you get the link for that meeting. And that's at 7 o'clock on Tuesday as well. Anything else? Well, we're able to go to 1:15. That's pretty good. Anyway, so thank you, everyone. Have a great week. Next week is Raw. So it is at the Duke of Kent at 5:30. Please try and attend. We had a good turnout last month. So please try and make it out. And then we have a Zoom meeting on the 29th because we have 5 weeks this month. So the 29th is a Zoom only meeting. There's no in-person. Okay. So that's it. Thank you, everybody. And we are adjourned. I do. I couldn't talk to it, but I have his presentation.
Well, I haven't seen the presentation.
I've seen it.
Otherwise, I would probably have. But we'll see.
Yeah.
He was pretty pissed off on track.
Yeah.